While I have posted many videos about many different games, the game I actually play the most, I haven't posted any videos on. I know this probably sounds strange. Well, why not? Why haven't you? It's actually a hard game to describe and explain. This is Uncharted Waters. It is an adventure game. It's a world based in the days of wooden ships and iron men, sailing ships on the high seas. You get to run around ports and adventure and find treasure and fight pirates or be a pirate. You can play in groups with many people or by yourself. You can hire assistants called aides to carry additional cargo and stuff in their ship. You can only have one, unfortunately. You can't have multiple aides, but only one of them can have a ship. So it's a little bit of a limiting factor there. I was kind of hoping you could have multiple ships and stuff and build your own flotilla, but yeah, it puts some limits on that. It is hard to describe and really explain it. What I really love about the game is it is so open. You can go and do anything. And I do mean anything. The entire Earth is in the game. You can sail to China, Japan. You can circumnavigate the world. You can go to the United States, the Caribbean. As you sail around, the ocean color changes. You run into storms. You can be attacked by other players in certain areas. Many areas are safe waters where you can't be attacked. But then there's lawless and open waters and things like this where you can be attacked by other players if they want to steal your cargo, and you have to fight them off. Very much like some other online games. You can adventure and do pretty much everything and anything. If you're quest-oriented, you like doing quests, you can do quests to your heart's content. There's 3 classes you can be. There's Merchant, where you get to do trading and buying and selling. When they get their levels up high enough, both with cooking, your skills in cooking, handicrafts, casting, and many others, you can build and make things. Most of my money actually comes from making things for other players. Buy the raw materials, process it into one thing, process it into something else, put it up for sale, use it yourself. It's fun in that way. You can also be a maritime. This is their combat, their warrior class. Go out to sea and become a pirate or hunt for pirates. And you can put bounties on other players. You can track them down, annihilate them, have them try to track you down, retaliations, back and forth. You can take quests for all of these. A typical quest for the merchant would be, go here, get this material, or bring it back. Go get this resource and bring it back. It's really fun when I pull into port and check through theirs and they'll say, hey, we're willing to offer you $20,000 for this material. Oh, I just so happen to have this on me. Oh, you need that? Go over to the bank, pull it out of your private farm. You can actually have private farms generate manufacturing things. I've pulled in hundreds of thousands of dollars just on that kind of stuff. What's next? You want that? Go over here, pull that out, bring it over here. Here you are. What's next? You got that? Just run back and forth. You get lost in time. When you're playing the game, I've pulled into port and my wife's here. Okay, we need to go over here. Okay, give me a few minutes to get this done and do a few things in port here, then we'll be on our way. And 45 minutes later, all right, I'm ready to go. The last class is called Adventurer. They can take quests to find buried treasures, recover lost artifacts, research information. You have to have certain levels of archaeology, theology, different languages, all sorts of things. And they put a lot of history in the game. Things about the Crusades, Martin Luther, Da Vinci, great artisans throughout history are all in the game in different aspects. It's kind of funny, people who were generations separated are all in the same time. So the timeline is a little all over the place. Some of the fun aspects of the game is not just that playability, but just the detail. I mean, this is a free game to play, and yeah, there's a lot of games out there that have more graphics, higher end, more detail, but look at this. The detail, the orientation, the stuff. You just run around and just have fun. You can do sword fights, going through the countryside, landing points, doing battle with enemies, thieves, robbers, bandits. You can make weapons, improve your swords, your guns for your ship. You can become a shipbuilder and manufacture custom-built quality ships and sell them to other players. As you're sailing around, the ocean changes color. You can fish, giving yourself a food supply. Numerous players have talked about being able to be out at sea indefinitely between some of the skills of procurement, fishing, and other skills. There are a few limitations, not truly indefinite. I could probably go a long time out at sea, setting up a couple different stages of food and things, but eventually you would have to come back. But still, do research on all sorts of things in game. It's kind of funny. It tells you to go, go talk to this person, do research. Go talk to somebody in the archives or in this area, whatever. They give you a little write-up of the history on it. Okay, you got that information. Now bring it back, and you get your reward, items, all sorts of things. If you're quest-oriented, you can do quests all over the place. Whatever class and type you want to be, you can do that. The one drawback, if I were to point out a weakness, the school is boring. But it goes through a lot of detail and shows you everything in the game. So it can get a little boring. I was actually 12th level before I even tried to do the schools. Actually, I didn't even know about the schools. I used to play the old console game, so I already knew everything, so I didn't even look at the schools. And my wife, I heard some other people chatting and stuff talking about, oh, you can go to schools? And then so my wife started playing the game. So she went over and did the schools and actually got up higher level than me, because if you set your character as a specific class, if you do quests on that class, you get more experience for it and more rewards. So if you have the skills to do an adventure quest, but you're actually a maritime, you get less on it. But if you do battles, which are all maritime, you get more experience if you're a maritime class. So when you're going through the schools, because there's 3 different schools for the 3 different classes, and each class has 3 different levels. If you start off as maritime and you do all 3 levels of the maritime, and then you switch to, say, adventure, or if you switch then to one of the other classes and do all 3 levels, and you switch to the final one and do all 3 levels, you get a lot more experience doing that. But the detail in the buildings, everything else is just fun little things that they put in. Here we are in the tavern. Now in here you have all the different, just the ambiance of the area, the different people you can talk to and things. Of course there's girls behind the counter. They try to flirt with me. I try not to respond to them, because otherwise my wife will shell the port. Just go on and look at just everything there. If you want to get into the game, I would recommend, play for a little bit when you're just start out as level 1. Just go through the first level of the school, if you do all 3 or just the 1, just because it will give you so much stuff and jump you up several levels. Play that for a little bit, then go do something fun, because the school really isn't that fun. But it's an end to a means. Now, if you really worked hard, I suppose you could get through all of the schools in about a week. The maritime, especially the last level, does really require assistance from other players, and it's not intended for a lower level player to be able to do. The player that's been playing for a while get other levels under their belt, but even so, you would need somebody else to assist you with the battles. But it's kind of a hard game to really give information on as far as a Let's Play video, because to watch somebody else's character run around and do stuff is not really that interesting. And when you're out at sea, okay, it's kind of interesting for a little bit, but look at the detail of the ships. You see stuff on the deck, inside the ports and rooms and stuff. You can see in there and see some stuff stacked around, barrels. I mean, just incredible detail of the ships. Admittedly, there are games with higher detail, but again, this is a free game. You can purchase in-game stuff to both help support it and get more additional things and all sorts of fun stuff therein. But the demands of the game are so low. I mean, it's really easy to play, easy to get into, but it's not a very easy game to watch somebody else play. Here is the action-packed excitement of battle! Yeah, it's kind of hard to show. It doesn't quite have the impact of World of Tanks, War Thunder, MechWarrior Online. A lot more action to discuss. When you're playing the games, it's far more interesting. You're having to click around and do a lot of stuff. So if you're interested in trying this out, if you like adventure games, this is definitely a game you should consider. Give it a couple levels to try out. When you're low level, it's hard to do most things. I mean, what game can you start off and play low level and do well? Depending on what your thresholds of interest are, the first 2 levels of school you can get through pretty easily. It's the third one that really turns into a hard grind on a few points. But as I said, just some food for thought. If you want to look into another game that I play, this is definitely one to consider. Game on!